Hello, my name is Mairead. I am a sophomore at Loyola University, Maryland. I am studying to major in communications with a specialization in PR and advertising. And for my introduction to multimedia class, I needed to make a podcast. And for this podcast, I decided to talk about something that I am very familiar with. My podcast will be about twins. Twins, as in, I don't know, twins, like anything to do with twins. I myself am a twin. I was born with another person, meaning Rosie, my twin. She was a minute older than me, so technically I'm the middle child because she's a minute older than me. I also have a younger sister, so technically we're Irish triplets. Yes. A question that I get asked a lot, being a twin, is can you imagine your life without a twin? Or something along the lines of that. It's just usually a question asking about life with a twin. And my answer is always cheesy because it's the one that makes the most sense to me. And that is, I can't really imagine my life without it. Not necessarily her, definitely her, Rosie being her. But I can't really imagine not always having somebody else there because that's all I've ever known. There's never really been a time in my life where I was more independent than my twin, or we were both more independent rather than spending time with each other. Or even like my little sister, where she was just born by herself. Like, we never had that, so we never knew what it was like to be alone. And it does make my answer sound cheesy because I can't imagine my life without her. It's such a heartfelt message, but really, I can't imagine not ever being a twin. It's something that I have been blessed to be a part of. It's something that I've been blessed to have. I love having a twin. I love having somebody that I can rely on and lean on like that in a different sisterly type of way. But yeah, I think I've answered this question a lot, and I think that that's my main answer. I guess I can't really imagine my life without Rosie, without being a twin. It's reaped so many benefits, and it's made me who I am, so it's something that I would never really change for the world. As a kid, what me and Rosie liked to do was pull pranks on people. People mainly being our teachers. We were never put in the same class, not only because we looked alike, but because at a very young age, when we were in the same class, we would fight each other. And I don't think it was like a malice type of fight. I think it was like a, hey, I'm bored, let's just square up type of fight. So we had to get split up. And so luckily for us, most of the class would be in on it, and we would one day pick a day, usually April Fool's, hopefully, if it was a day in that school year. But what we would do is we would find a way to dress more like the other one. Like, Rosie had her Rosie clothes and I had my clothes. Like, I had my favorite jersey that I'd wear, or she had her favorite sweater that she would wear. And we would take note of this. And classes, my parents knew, so they were on board with it for the day. And one of the teachers actually brought Rosie up to it. But we pranked my teachers successfully. We did it from middle school to high school too. We pranked some of my high school teachers. And I mean, I guess bringing her to college, we've definitely turned heads around campus. I've said hello to a lot of people at Ithaca which is where she goes. And those people probably think that it was Rosie, but it was me. And she's done the same thing here. I've broken people's necks with the fact that there are two of me. Since it was always me and Rosie, my little sister, sometimes felt that she was left out. And I can really understand that. I can really see that. And being 20 now, looking back at my childhood, I honestly feel bad for her because we really did gang up on her, and I do feel horrible about it. Although she handled some of it poorly, it was a slaughtering. No, definitely wasn't a slaughter. Definitely, I feel bad. Just, family dynamic and all, which was good for us. Definitely college was good for us. But yes, having a twin was something that changed our family dynamic. It obviously had its benefits. I mean, I would never change anything about my family. I love them to death. The way that I have been raised, I am lucky. I'm fortunate to have such loving, caring parents that give a crap about my life, and I love that they want to be a part of everything that I do. I am nothing but grateful for the life that they have given me, and I am happy that I had twins. And it's interesting because my mom actually had multiple miscarriages before she had me and Rosie, so we were miracle children, and I'm blessed to be here. Love my family. Something that me and Rosie both found interesting was that in high school we would kind of keep track as to how the other twin pairings interacted with each other and how their twin dynamic kind of sized up to ours, I suppose, in a way. Me and Rosie always categorized ourselves as two peas in a pod. We did everything together. We never really fought. We had the same friends. And some of the other twins, like we had best friends who were twins that were still close, but they weren't as peas in a pod as me and Rosie were. They both kind of had their secrets, and they kind of kept them from each other, it seemed. There were some other sets of twins that were around the same as that. They were friends. They'd have some individuality, but there were other sets that both did the same sports that were kind of like me and Rosie. There was a guy set of twins that was kind of like the me and Rosie, because they both had the same friends, both did the same sports, were on the same team. One was a little better looking than the other one. I never felt that with me and Rosie. I felt like we look enough alike that we were more. We looked so alike that there was really no who was the prettier twin, who was the uglier twin. But anyway, I digress. But there was actually one set of twins that hated each other. They always seemed to tolerate each other, is a better word, rather than hate. They both just had some sort of animosity between them. I hated it. It was just such an awful energy. Why fight with the person that you were born with? What's the meaning? I never really was close with them, so I never really knew if there was actually a reason for them to be fighting. But whenever I was with them, they would just hit each other, or they would call each other names. And of course, me and Rosie call each other names, but it's more in a playful kind of way. This was definitely ill-intended, full offense, name-calling, which was interesting. And I suppose it kind of just made me sad, really, to think that I didn't I wouldn't get to be best friends with my twin if I hated her. It just doesn't make any sense to me as to why you'd hate your twin. It's not fair to the people who would love a sibling and don't get one.